ladies and gentlemen, the muscular swear fi kitir hinat lakin na berua seri jetanin to tanin de bisibu kama okay gali zola zorwa amula jadi Nicku zola juice kan Nicku zola juice Nicku min wen de jack alle de gulo jack de asanda inendi fina jack alle alindi bigulu ay denas alle ay denas al bigulu ay anendi dak wana maindi de wana maindi dak asana nendi suyagua ana bag dari dugu jack wana bag dari amul muskla santanin de bigulu na maindi kuwa o tanin de bigulu ay anendi bait o tanin de bigulu ya anendi bruce o asan mother Maria mother George Binia o Binia mother George Rajin asan bigulu ay maina maindi kuwa so de fia jet kitir lakini de fina zol bigulu Jack Nicku zola juice time zola juice de become gay Mamuruf so sap mininak ajet kitir na sonus kuba lagi de rebels activities fi rebel activities fi na kitir fi tari taori o liberary so ani ado ad ojo agor mbi agor tingol lisi so jo agor bina so jo madina izi ko and then madina ke gwa ne ko jo ke gwa and then nasi ya lezi si ama ingo ama fodia si London si Windsor macha Windsor and then na bazi Arabis yo kita ti Arabi disi and then vukina kaki ado tau yo kaki yo ka do ide ka musclas e jinau musclas e jiri lejozi e jiri ta ziarudi kaki yo lado yo le Sudan now and then bazi inina and then da fi sola juice fogo o tanin den nas jack itnin den nas jack o ma zola juice del kulu fogo inak zol de gun wo zola juice le jama del al barabi yukanani and then isi wozima di agor mbi agor tingo ya and then money ma swingo ma process nado I read ado where I don't know and then nasi ma busy and then Arab in America and then amad yo banani and then madina ko mai gwango ojoki bana erkita kuya bana de erkita ko jo erkita ko and then associate kia yo like Sudan ne wa dia law di lede ay ko dupien re law di lede ay ko dupi jo ay ko dua pie ko dure na ay ko dua pie ke jo source Sudan SSD Sudan so de chokita na olukia o and then ya la de bana ro ayado ay tanana dia itana na jo akuru mbi agortira and then mbi agortira and then ya tale de ode kesi le niga kesu ado sa bale de yani e choki ado yani Sudan ni mira Sudan ne ani zida ko yani Sudan na Rusi and then jo that is Sudan and then ya la agorti relationships or in agor na tito individual Arabigonas or Bible ine tanorajo so jo warni SSD and then ole kolu kadu Sudan nagana and then ole kiado runtai associate ka yere kuna ko so disi tana odaro ni diani ya wana odaro ole madi tana ni ya kuire dinga kuna tiniri keji dinga kuna tiniri and then kolu ko biolule na beke de jede na siko easy da ko ole de am ken wi Sudan ken ko biangule ken wi Sudan do chota not arla na oda au sinina so di ta area then nasi amadua mangama ko tazungwe ado yai ni joma ilelegare yaini joma obidu yaini joma obidu bado ani ole na chalo ole no tukuru isi jo tukuru and then amadua mabari amajudia tuta katale ni izani na ya ile ni oroda joku jo barangwa nizi joko dua kinyamdiru bitu deri and then nasi obi orule pe tayo ni yo tayo and then which the arabina amajo kisile ni and then nasi ojo di joki am drilling to the rangu dinara and then obuzi ko oizi obuan ko nan and then ani so ani ado ani mojula ode ani jango ko ani yango ani and then jo yango and then adi konya ngoni so related to the and then amadua mande tale di ba amadua mandere inga amajo di injiri yorado zitojo imoria ko imoria idio and then zitojo idi million yo zitojo idi million isa yo and then zitojo ikol choices nyaga and then I call the Lucila Diga Ligeriyo so Lucila Diga Ligeriyo or Medina so kaki ado idea tayo so this which cases let the irrelate or you need your cases let the and then join you Sudan and you do P and then Madina Kwangake Munasi ka kido lego ni by nyali di yala job ri chonyi le they are doing nya fe na arabiasi so nyaru dinga na bati and then nyaru Sudan ko oli na nya fe arabiasi ole nyidi jogara nyagare no arabia ole nasi nyagare no iyo and then nya nyele no dinga na bae de ole ko di lazia rosia and then bara ko chede jade kira and then ado corona ni tazio so jo cases na amadua maba feedbacks da majo na peri so na madia la lo mu na dere ko ma dinga na bati ko ma Sudanese go so ma Sudanese go ma Sudanese go manita ne buno yo mama madine se and then da nasi and then da jo ni den yo ni and then da amadua mu ita de English is and then your rebel business. That is it. Basically, rebel business. That is it. Like sleeping 12 months on 4 inches mattress. You don't know what is really there and then what is the idea. Sleeping for 12 months need a 12 mattress so that they will be able to reason well within their grass house, whatever that is grass house. Whatever is in the villages for them to reason well. Of course, we talk of different city colonies. If the city is colonization areas, this is the areas which has been colonized, particularly by the computer experts, and then they develop it, they take it to another level with their skills, with their expertise, and other things, where they make sure the city is a standard for that purpose. But the rest there, which you are seeing, is of course basically based on lots, on which lots they're having, maybe 6 parts, maybe they don't have $1 million, maybe they don't have they don't have $1 million house, maybe they don't have children, yes, and then of course on the other ends we also went and compared, maybe that could be the strangers who is overbuilding the cases could be the one related. They spent, of course, back on our elections and to close down and shut down each one of the stores. We said yes, this is Rogers owned all the Canadian homes. What am I doing here? This is what the strangers went and claimed and said to us, and then we went and claimed to the strangers the regions that we make these areas shut down is to ensure we have different freedoms in our homes, because that is based on the circumstances of what we have. We are really in lacks. That is a lot of lacks. We don't have the resource to use a force on a certain agreements. If there is agreement, you bypass an agreement and you are fooling. Of course, the elections and the campaign is there, which is the one negotiating all the affairs. It has nothing to do with your hugeness, whatever how huge you are, whatever how many million you have there, or how much million you have there, has nothing to do with it, because that's based on the capacity of the elections. That's election institution, the brain people have from their homes, the observations, the area of the observations, the critical things which they are seeing, of course. That is it. Based on that areas which we urge, and then that's the region which is closing that Rogers is closed. Is nothing to do with what we so-called, whatever they say they own all the home. The home is not all their homes. What about the heritages homes? The heritages home is stand for the people on government housings. That is what they call heritages homes, because they heritage the homes and then they give it to the government, and then the government hire the pedestrians anyhow from any corner to make it a home, and then the pedestrian of course will make the home, and then from there, from wherever possible, they raise it, and then they raise it. If the pedestrians is hard workers, and then that is their hard work, they chop it and they make it another home possible for them to survive. Otherwise, we also urge, of course, of the heritages homes in the state. Our elections records indicated Roger is scamped and very fraud, very corrupt for that purposes, and then therefore all the renters, the people who are renting from the government's housings for use with these elections, of course, they bypass what they call the prime minister's elections, which is said bring the bills down, then they cannot comply, then they went and trying to increase the bills. That's what they're not themselves. They are saying they are very huge, they can still beat it, That is the situations which we of course talk of very much there. Of course, if we talk of what they call the present choice, and according to the present choice, of course, we must always provide the excellent service to all residents, equally putting smiles on our Canadian home corners, of course, ensuring feedbacks happiness to all our homeowners, of course. Our policies, our aims are to ensure that we open always tight built restrictions against our wills and reputations, of course, to ensure yes we let them to the homeowners also more charge of happiness in saving their small amount of money, not to collect nor to deduct their saving account, whatever too expensive nor not, and then of course homeowners will be provided by blue, pink, black, white modems, internet or Wi-Fi system or cable box, of course, which are 5 billion people worldwide, and if that is worldwide supporters for that very regards. Otherwise, if we go very deep as and we talk of defilements and cheating cases, that is all, yes, the village lose very heavy as their sons, of course, advance, sleeping 12 men with always new mattresses and well-built killing their so-called tend to get married at the age of 27 or less after poverty's indications, because business was kidnapped and killed by collecting different urgent unnoticed and agreed fund, which is causing, of course, what they called non-sufficient service fund. Of course, if the service fund is not there, of course they have problems. They are fighting, quarreling in the house, which we already got it up there. And then to all the group who are renting, and that's the capacity of the groups who are renting. Of course, with those secrets, which is back in Sudan, Eastern African Kenya, and then also vis-a-vis to Uganda, to DRC, and then of course that is a will of different. If Uganda, Kenya can agree the GSIPs with these SSD groups, that is a worst thing, because we don't know what exchange these people are they are doing there with their technologies. because there is a gay exchange or lesbians exchange, we are not too sure there. There is 100% problems there. So we know that is a big secret which we've been talking over, and then we collected, because for us we get the click on the future test. We have the future test. That was that in Windsor, and then we access edition, how many gays who are involved there, who turned edition, who turned very seriously there, and is really affected over these SSD cases over there. And then because the border, how they cut the border, and then how we try to open it back, and then so that we can give it back to Sudan, so that we can avoid this kind of border issues and border problems, alongside there. So that is the regards. And then why will a man marry a man? And then why would a woman marry a woman if that's the situations? So what is not too good there, and what is not happening there within Sudan? If that's the situation, that is the situation of Sudan land, and then the Sudan own that land, and then why shall they change the name to another name if that is mandatory the case there? So if that's the situations, I was physically called to Windsor, and then assessment was done concerned to this one, men marry men, and then how can we who are really typical Sudanese, how can we be invited to test such kind of behaviors of the Dinkas people over this kind of catland, which is of Sudan hand, and then where they want to claim their relationship to Kenya and then Uganda and DRC, and then you name it. Why shall they claim their 5 countries over there to be another countries? So that is a big dilemma. We have really no idea, no clue, no nothing. So of course, Bigulu Dema Jack Zola Jews, Nicku Zola Jews, or Zola Jews, Nicku Bikunda Enak, Bikunda Abugei, Bikuna Bumakwes Mamuruf. So can they marry Nick Maria or Rajil Mamuruf? So as an ajade kulu asil zaman na fi Windsor or na ana barawan maberof muna mula jadak. So they are just sharp, the secret are sharp. Ta Sudan they nakal zol the shil bararak. So they are just al sharp enak. So they talk for him. So kisi na so ani kono po masamani futures na kwa ni aru concerns ni mani mereko. So jotana ma aware, very aware of it. Mani nusuditi ni mereka na ubinabu. Mani manra jo na ilabu, jo na habari, jo na Abdului, and then nobody know. Inira jo stiri now Sudan agora and then of course Jonimo ya video ole lile diniga nyende nyesua madina na aruna nyende ya wagona tinye nyende wa ilega buga go kakirubuna nyende wa so lakana so cases na lakini jo cases jozi kana eze mani re 2010 2011 2012 fagara, and then amasses cases na isu bale de ya country na lile or dia ya iresu, and then cases na ya dilemmas na rentsara ko, and then we try to issue it, and amandirare na tanai futures, and then badi magamani arusi man Sudanese go ma equal, and then more manchi, and then madi video yotas you tari inja ma Sudanese in more inja manita you. So jo idita na and then obakim ede sa my name man ko masamandra so matanda that's was it. So mani maniko jo cases da idini laka koziki ya cases ya kufukia gori ya nilera yoro ya oli ya vuri or kora ni jondi dia soloni, and then koziki and jo le kor ka Sudan kusai jo le kor ka Sudan ya Sudanese, and then cases na ni reyo bako reyo na lele madi merimanta dia udi koro so yore yo bako so jo sine zaidi ni and then das ist Overview to Overview, otherwise Wayne Hassan does his